Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by TheLines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast, and we're looking at some best bets here to kick off the work week with you guys. 8 games on this Monday in the NBA. We are going to be taking a look at sides and totals here. We've also got another episode up with some player props available as well, so make sure you are checking that out. Continue to follow along all season by subscribing to that channel. Decent day there on Friday. Better in the player props there. Looking to get back above 500, but the heater continues, man. We've had a really good couple of weeks, so let's keep it going here with your first play for Monday night, Nate.
Yeah, the parlay streak came to an end with Durant getting 40 and Book distributing, so he fell just shy of 20, but otherwise, pretty good week. So my pick here is Celtics -4, actually a 3.5 just popped, and the Celtics are going to have some iffy injury report stuff, but so are the Kings. Sabonis questionable, Monk questionable with the illness, and Sabonis has tried to go out there and hobble around a couple games and like not been able to make it. So even if he's active, I'm not necessarily expecting to see the Iron Man of last year. And without him, the Kings have just been atrocious. I mean, they actually have the worst defensive rating in the NBA in their last 8. They're playing at a slow pace. And they're particularly the worst in the areas that the Celtics are going to try to get to with their methodical pace, right? I mean, worst above the break 3-point defense, worst at the rim. Celtics don't do much else, this in part is a road home cap that the Celtics are a team I would much rather back on the road, especially when they're out on these West Coast trips. You see sometimes that they just like get into business mode. They probably don't do as much nightlife as a lot of other teams. Certainly when you're in Sacramento. No shade to any listeners from Sacramento here, but yeah, no, I think they're just locked in, and you've seen it the last 3 times they've gone to Sacramento. 142 offensive rating. 21 threes at 49%. They've just absolutely crushed this team, which, this team had a very close loss in Boston, beat them in Boston last 2 times there. So take that for what it's worth, but more, it's just like Boston, I think, since losing that game to OKC, where they really got a taste of playoff level defense and, a championship level team, we're like, okay, now it's time to lock in. Like, we're still going to give guys rest on the front end, back end. And that's what we have here. We have KP rested, Drew Holiday rested pretty much. They said shoulder, but both those guys I think will play. There's even a chance Jaylen Brown plays if Tatum sits on the second leg of a back-to-back or something like that. But Boston, so deep. The Kings kind of broken on offense and defense. And yeah, if they don't have Monk out there facilitating, like, I don't trust their offense at all. Aren't they the worst team in the league against the spread as home dogs? 1-5 now, 37% ATS overall at home. So yeah, it's a situation where I'm going to back the Celtics on the road, even though they're on short rest.
Yeah, wild times, man. Wild times out there in Sac. It's just been a fluctuation based on who's out there for them. So yeah, I can't really argue with anybody going against them right now in general. They're getting waxed by good teams, and they're definitely not handling business against poor teams. And yeah, I don't think like the Celtics, like you said, coming in, maybe they haven't been taking things as seriously down the stretch necessarily, but when you put them on the road and you don't give them this sort of comfort of their home building, then they're likely to definitely not only play better or at least try harder, but also maybe more likely to get a few guys back to make sure that they don't get on any kind of slide as they missed an easier game in the last one out, like you were talking about. So let me go over to that Milwaukee Phoenix game. This total has dropped a ton, but I actually just think that adds more to the fuel that I have here to bet on Milwaukee. I know you like this one as well. Just taking them to win. Like if you want to take the +3 now or +2.5, great. I think they're going to win this game against Phoenix. And in part, it is a lot to do with this pace here. If you're looking at the last bunch of games for both these teams, the Bucks have come down tremendously in their pace and their defensive presence as well. Obviously, 7th in defensive rating over their last 10, and they're 27th in pace in their last 5, 18th in pace in their last 10. And on the season, they were at about 8th before these last 10 games where they just plummeted downward with how fast they're playing. And I do think there'll be a little bit of pace with Giannis being the main ball handler and the primary sort of guy to go forward with it and set up the offense. And when he's setting up the offense, that usually means a lot of like earlier shots in the shot clock. But it's still been a defensive minded team for this Bucks squad. Like I said, with that D rating looking a lot better now. And really, they play the best teams in the league over their last 10 games. Hardest strength of schedule, and that's been their sort of their go-to is take care of the ball. They're second in turnover percentage, get to the free throw line. Giannis, they're second in free throw attempt rate as well there. And those are two things that, that's great against the Phoenix Suns. They're going to have as many possessions as they want. Phoenix isn't even turning the ball over, much less being able to force a team that's playing really well like the Bucks in terms of taking care of the ball. And then they are 17th in terms of opponent free throw attempt rate. We know how easy it is to get to the basket against them. But interestingly enough, they're horrible against the mid-range. And this team has been taking a lot of mid-range here, second in mid-range frequency over their last 10 games and their last 5 games. And this Suns team definitely not nearly as good, both in the mid-range and in the paint in general. They are right now in the last 10 games, they are sixth worst in terms of paint points that they're allowing. And then as far as the mid-range go, they're 20th there, like bottom 12, whatever you want to call them. So I'm just really liking this spot here for Milwaukee. I don't really care about, a lack of rest or anything. I still don't trust Phoenix. They need to win at like a 250 point pace to win these games that they've actually won over their last 10. They have to be high scoring. So I think the defense will be what comes through for Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's where I landed because, originally I'm looking at an over here, expecting Giannis to just eat and expecting the Bucks drop D to struggle a little bit against a red-hot KD book. But then, I see the Suns, who have the full weekend off here, have just been atrocious on extra rest. Like whether it's covering, whether it's going over the total, their offense just does not come with it. So I'm like, all right, let's just take the Bucks. Like, let's just buy into this defense that they've been showcasing lately, which should get better without Dame. And then, you say like, well, they'll miss him on offense, but I don't, I think you can just do the Giannis 30+ parlay here with the Bucks money line too, and just be like, Giannis about to carry them. And the Suns ain't that.
Yeah.
So Tankathon special tonight is Toronto at Washington. I'll take the Wiz -1.5. I think you have to look at the standings from the upside down perspective, right? That Toronto is 8.5 games back on Washington for the worst record in the East, and they are trying to catch up. They're 1 game back, more importantly, on Brooklyn and Philly, who are, Philly trying their damned hardest to lose every game possible. Toronto is right there with them, and they're on a back-to-back here, right? At their last back-to-back, they lost by 40 in Phoenix, a team that we just mentioned has a lot of weaknesses. They sat quickly in Pirtle last night, got absolutely destroyed by a Spurs team that's the worst defensive team in the league right now. And Washington actually not the worst. They were 30th before the All-Star break. They are 18th post-All-Star break. They are 6-10 straight up. And 8 of their last 9 games have been on the road, with only 1 at home against Orlando, who, as we mentioned Friday, owns them. So, Washington's actually, giving guys a shot here. We know we're going to get the vets in there, Middleton and Smart tonight. They're only sitting out a couple of young guys. So they're going to get that mix of like 25 minutes of everybody, the melting pot. Toronto might do a little bit of the same, but Barnes and RJ played 30 minutes last night. Like, if they're active, how much are they going to be out there? Scotty Barnes has been playing like 10 minutes in the second half of most games against these bad teams because they're like, whoa, don't go out there and get a win. Just going back to Washington, when they've actually been home since the start of February, almost beat the Pacers, Bucks, and Blazers, very competitive, beat the Tankers, the Nets are just bad, and beat the Jazz when they were trying to out-tank them. So I just think it's a situation you got to identify that like Washington's willing to win this game and Toronto's like, no, thank you. You can have it.
Yeah. Washington doesn't have a tank squad. Like they've just got a bunch of young guys that are going to keep bringing it.
It's all the tank squad.
That's what I'm saying. Like they don't have a tank squad the way Toronto's like, well, we can sit these 3 to 4 good NBA players. Washington's like, well, we don't even have that. So we'll just play our guys. Maybe we'll dwindle the minutes a bit here and there for Jordan Poole. I do see the books sort of catching on to that and seeing stuff for Jay Poole or even Middleton. Really low numbers for those guys, indicating they're not going to play the same level of minutes. But that hasn't mattered for this team. And I think we're still going to see guys like Alex Sarr out there for 25. He's been scoring damn near a point a minute in these matchups with teams like the Jazz and company, right? So we're come on, man. This is one team is better at tanking than the other, despite the fact that Washington's been tanking all season. I'm with you on them being able to handle this game in one that like the Raptors are up there with the Jazz, top 2 tanking squads. But let me go to Denver. This is an interesting game. We've got the Bulls and the Nuggets here. Both teams coming off nice wins as well. Huge win for Denver, and that's why I'm like, they're going for this. If they had lost to Houston yesterday for Denver, then I would not be as quick to just jump on them on the second night of a back-to-back. Maybe they find some rest for some guys. That would have been my projection if they hadn't beaten the Rockets. But now they're one game back of that 2 seed, and that's important. Like, you're about to play. If you believe that you have a shot at this thing, then you should be planning on playing them in the second round. And you would love to have home court advantage as the Denver Nuggets, specifically the Denver Nuggets having that home court advantage against Houston. That's going to be a pretty big deal for them. So I'm going to bank on them really bringing it in this game. And like the stuff for Chicago, I just want to give them their flowers for a minute, because like they haven't been tanking. They've just been playing. They're going to get into this play-in, and they might be a problem for some people in this play-in, because if you look at them over their last 10, they have the 6th best net rating in the NBA, still playing at the second fastest pace, but like the defense isn't awful. I guess it's a bunch of other guys coming in. You're getting a little bit more like Julian Phillips and Dalen Terry. You're getting long like wings that are playing a little bit more defense than when those minutes were going to the Zach LaVines, and even Pat Will was getting more minutes back in the day. So they are a much better squad. But like when Denver's locked in at this point without Jokic, like I'm pretty sure they're okay playing without him at this point. Really nice defensive play yesterday from them, and then just rode Jamal Murray to the tune of like a nearly 40-point game. That obviously was the thing that carried them in the end. But the things that they're going to keep doing that I still just don't trust Chicago, they're just going to keep attacking, man. Like they look for shots down low. This is not like your average 3-point shooting team, where, to be fair to the Bulls, they're actually not that bad of a 3-point defense overall. Like they're not a great one, but when it comes to like not giving up that shot, they'll come out onto the 3 and allow you to go to the bucket a lot more. And when you don't have Jokic, like Aaron Gordon's playing incredibly well in the Jokic assisting spot up top. He had 13 potentials yesterday. He's now averaging 10 potentials without Jokic on the season, is Aaron Gordon. So he's been a really good facilitator from that spot. And then you got like that leads to everybody then going towards the bucket when you get the dribble handoff that he's running with Jamal. That keeps Jamal super effective the way that he was with whenever Jokic is out there. And then the cutters off of him, like Christian Brown, even Russ, these guys cutting to the bucket, giving a lot of opportunities to Aaron Gordon, which has cut into some other guys' assists, but that's fine. It's like that's clearly the focal point of this offense. And when you have Vooch as that main defender who's been playing 30, 32 minutes, like great. It looks like they're going to keep playing him between 28 to 32. Wonderful, because that is the reason that centers and everybody else do so well going to the rim against this team. For the Bulls, even as good as they've been playing overall, like they're still giving up a really high rim field goal percentage. You can still get open shots in the floaters, and the extended paint as well has been a trouble area for them. So yeah, like Vooch is just going to keep doing his thing on defense. This is going to lead to the Nuggets doing their thing. If you believe in the Bulls, then I can see how this would be scary, but there's just no reason that the Nuggets should only be 3-point favorites with or without Jokic against this squad.
Are the Bulls on a back-to-back as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yep.
so I don't know if we get Vooch necessarily,
True.
which would hurt you on one end, not the other. I'm glad, you gave them some credit for sure. I won't say that like they've only beaten up on tomato cans, but the Bulls are definitely playing above their head. Definitely like benefiting from some schedule quirks. And yes, they get Denver on a back-to-back here, but this is also the 6th game of their road trip. It is at elevation now for the Bulls after playing at a really fast pace against the Lakers last night. So I think they're as much of a disadvantage against a Jokic-less Nuggets team, which is a lot of like youth and athleticism, right? It's guys who might not mind the back-to-back as much and might be able to actually guard Kobe White, Giddey if he goes. Yeah. And shut that shit down, because like Bulls, again, their offense has been way above their head.
Yeah. If Aaron Gordon is stopping Vooch up above the break from those threes, like he's as strong as Vooch down low, who's not even really going down there. So I don't really see any advantages on the court. Great win for them in LeBron's return back yesterday. Absolutely waxed the Lake Show. So like good for them. But yeah, this is going to be a much, much tougher spot once again in Denver. So that's all the time we have for you though in Best Bets. Definitely make sure to subscribe to that channel and check out the play of props we have up for you alongside these each and every weekday. And until we see you next, happy betting.